sure it's not.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Shri Krishna Balakam ki Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna Hare Krishna everyone. Today we'll be discussing from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, text 4. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, text 4. Bhumirapo analo vayu kham mano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakrutirashtadha. Bhumirapo analo vayu kham mano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakrutirashtadha. Lord Krishna says, that this bhumi, earth, apaha, water, analaha, fire, vayuhu, air, kham, sky or ether, manaha, mind, buddhi, intelligence, ahankara, false ego, iti yamme, these are all my bhinna prakritihi, my separated energies, ashtadha, these eight comprise my bhinna prakritihi, my separated material energies. So here is in this chapter, seventh chapter, the knowledge of the absolute, Krishna mentions his energies, his material energies, as he is mentioning here, as well as his spiritual energy, which he will discuss in the next verse. So, this is understanding of God scientifically. Science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. To understand God is not sentimental, as Prabhupada says many times. Bhakti is not a kind of sentiment practiced by some sentimental, emotional people who have no intelligence. That may be the case in certain cases, but actually, bhakti is bhaktya shruta gruhitaya. It is completely authentic, based on authorized scriptures, followed by intelligent people, sumedhasaha, when it is given from the authorities coming in disciplic succession, coming all the way from Krishna. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead who has given the sublime knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, meant for the most intelligent people. And in that Bhagavad Gita, Krishna discusses his various energies. In this chapter, Krishna mentions his energies and how he is the origin of all of them. Thereby, one understands that the ultimate goal of life is to understand that person who is the origin of everything. Whereas this materialistic life, most of the living entities, they take these energies for granted. Oh, yeah, I have air, I have water, everything is there in abundance. Why do I care? I just live life, hedonistic philosophy. I have everything and I enjoy everything. But the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to give us, equip us with this knowledge. Be grateful. Be grateful to God for what He has given us. There's a beautiful saying, it's a beautiful message. Once a rich man looked through his window and saw a poor man picking something from his dustbin or a trash can. And the poor man and the rich man said to himself, thank God I'm not poor. And then this poor man, he looked around and saw a man who was naked and was running hither and thither and talking weirdly, misbehaving. He was basically mentally challenged person running on the street. And then this poor man said to himself, oh, thank God I'm not mad. And this madman, after all, is not that mad. He had some sense. So he was looking ahead and saw this ambulance carrying a patient. And he said to himself, thank God I am not sick. And then the sick man is in the hospital. He was being treated on, and the doctor said he was all right. He was going to get all right. And then he sees this trolley taking a dead body to the mortuary. And he said to himself, oh, thank God I'm not dead. But can the dead man say anything? He's dead. He cannot say anything. Only a dead person cannot thank God. So we should be grateful for what God has given us. These natural amenities, natural resources, Krishna has kindly provided for our happy living. In the third chapter, Krishna already said, this life should be that of gratitude, especially the life of human beings. Life should be for sacrifice. Sacrifice means showing gratitude. The idea is right now our mentality in this conditioned existence is exploitation. We want to enjoy life by exploiting nature, by exploiting others for my sense gratification. And we get entangled by living such a life. So Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, has given this sacrifice by which one uses God given things and gives it in return to God. It is just like going to a river and taking a cup of water in your palms and then throwing back the water as an offering into the river. After all, the river possesses the whole water. None of that belongs to you. But by that mere act of taking it and offering it, your heart is getting cleansed. You're coming out of the mentality of exploitation. You're cultivating the act of sacrifice or gratitude, which gradually cleanses your heart and paves your way back home, back to Godhead. So one should cultivate this gratitude. In this one pastime, where not pastime, one story where Lord Shiva once was with his wife Parvati. They were passing through a town and they were disguised as ordinary village people. And while they were walking, a beggar came and asked for a donation. And Lord Shiva said he didn't have anything to give. And this poor man is begging. And so Mother Parvati said, why don't you give him something? This man is so desperately asking for something. And Lord Shiva said, even if I gave, he will not be able to enjoy. He is so unfortunate. He does not know how to enjoy. He is condemned. But Mother Parvati requested again to give the beggar something. So Lord Shiva consented. And then he said he had a watermelon, and in which Lord Shiva concealed a great treasure of gold and jewels. And he said, okay, I have this watermelon, you go, take it. And so this beggar was not very satisfied because he didn't like the watermelon. As it is said that one who does not get satisfaction from whatever is given naturally by God, he will not be satisfied with the whole universe. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one should cultivate this art of being satisfied in whatever condition. Yadricha labha santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samah siddhava siddhau cha kritva pina nibadhyate. Yadricha labha santushto. One should be satisfied with whatever comes out of its own accord. Yadricha labha santushto, being satisfied. So it doesn't matter you are rich or poor. If you cultivate this art of being satisfied materially, then you can overcome this duality, dvandva titaha, and you become qualified to cultivate spiritual knowledge. Because to advance spiritually, first you need to be satisfied materially. Our material dissatisfaction is because of agitated mind. Our mind is always agitated. Oh, I want that, I want this. So this beggar typified this mentality of a conditioned soul. He was not happy. So what he did, he went away. Okay, thank you. He customarily said thank you and he went away. And he thought, what shall I do with this mere watermelon? I was expecting some cash or some coins or whatever it is. And so he went and sold it for somebody in the village for some little money. And then that person who got the watermelon, he wanted to eagerly eat it. He cut it open and he was surprised to find those priceless jewels. So the beggar that received the watermelon, he didn't know the great value of what he had been given. So he practically gave it away. So in this material world, we are many times, in one sense, as unfortunate as this beggar. Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, has given us so much of these great treasures. Out of his mercy, he has given all these natural resources. He has given the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. He has given his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He's come in the form of his deity, present in the temple. Anybody can go and have a darshan of him. He has given association of his pure devotees. But in spite of all this, we are like beggars. In spite of having all of this in front of us, we are not satisfied. So human being life is meant for cultivating this gratitude. So that's what Prabhupada says. These materialists, they take it for granted. Oh, this is there and I enjoy. This bhumi, apo, analo, vayu come. Their philosophy is, even the most scientific people, they think that matter is always present. Matter is ever existing. And life somehow got manufactured from matter, by combination of matter. So who actually produced that matter in the beginning? It cannot be randomly be present. Something, if you say randomly present, can something be randomly be constructed like a house? Something which is made of something has to be produced by combination of something. Who is producing that combination? Who is making that combination? The scientists, they give combination, this formula. Oh, water is made of hydrogen and oxygen, H2O. But who has made that combined to produce water? The scientists may say, yes, we are producing water in the laboratory. See, hydrogen and oxygen. So who produced hydrogen and oxygen? Or you see the beautiful big ocean, Pacific Ocean. So who mixed these huge quantities of hydrogen and oxygen and produced this huge ocean? So this is the lacking. This thinking is the lacking. Why? Because they don't want to give credit to God. They don't want to believe in God. They want to push people towards enjoying life materially. There is no God. This is all formed naturally, randomly. It's life formed naturally. Prabhupada gives a wonderful example how matter comes from life. You see this lemon tree, the lemon fruit it produces. It produces enormous amount of citric acid. But if the lemon tree is dead, none of that becomes produced. Like our body, it is unknowingly, it is we have no control. We have no idea how the body, the hairs are growing, the nails are growing. When the wound is there, the wound is healing, the body is growing, how the food is becoming digested. We have no idea how it is going on. But as soon as the person becomes dead, the living entity goes away, none of this happens. commonsensical. Matter is produced from life. A dead body cannot sweat. We sweat, we perspire. A dead body cannot have emotions. Forget emotions. Even physiologically, everything that is happening in this body comes because me, the living entity, the spirit soul is there in the body, either in a plant or a human being or an animal. So matter is produced from life. So what to speak of these huge quantities of matter like earth, water, air, fire, ether that we see in abundance in the nature, it is also must be produced from life. And Krishna says that is me. That is produced from me. This is commonsensical derivation. Whereas unscientific derivation is, oh, they're all naturally there. They are there. It is mostly, it is complete nonsense to think that everything is there and everything is there for my enjoyment. Prabhupada says that this whole material universe, the materialists, a little more advanced materialists, they divide that into 24 elements. These 24 elements are divided like this. First, there are five gross elements, like as Krishna is saying, Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kham, earth, water, air, fire, ether. So these five elements are there. And in these five are embedded the sense objects. So what are the sense objects? How we smell. The sense object called smell is there within earth. That is why when there is rain, you smell the nice smell of the earth. So the sense object called smell is there in the earth. And in water, how we taste, the sense object taste comes because of water. And the sense object called form that I see comes because of fire. And the touch, the sense object called touch, comes because of air. And the sense object sound comes because of sky. Sound transmits through sky. So these five gross elements include these five sense objects. So that is 10, totally 10. Now the living entity has ahamkara. Ahamkara means ahamkara. It's me. This body is mine. So the thing that I am different from spirit and I am this body is ahamkara, and anything which is bodily expansion is mine. So me and mine, that is called ahamkara. So this, because of having this ahamkara, when we come to this material world from spiritual world, this ahamkara produces this 10 sense, these 10 senses, the knowledge acquiring senses, like the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and the working senses, the hands, legs, voice, these reproductive organs and evacuating organs. So these 10 senses, knowledge acquiring and working senses. So they produce 10. So we have 10 gross elements, 5 gross elements, 5 sense objects, then 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses. Then we have man, buddhi, ahankar, mind, intelligence, false ego, and then the total material energy, Mahatattva. So these are the 24 elements of this material world, which these Sankhyites, the concept of Sankhya philosophy comes because of this. Sankhya means they divide, they analyze this world consisting of these 24 elements to understand, oh, what is what. But their whole knowledge is limited within this material world. But the ordinary scientists, their knowledge is completely only within these 10, these five gross elements and five sense objects: earth, water, air, fire, ether, sound, smell, touch, form, taste. The whole material science is this. And those who are little above that, the philosophers, they focus on mind. They go a little up. And those who are even higher, they go up to intelligence. So man, buddhi, ahankar. But all these eight, sometimes people make mistake that mind is spiritual. No, but here Krishna clearly mentions mind is not spiritual, mind is material, but it is subtle. These eight are material energies, of which five are gross: earth, water, air, fire, ether, and three are subtle: mind, intelligence, and false ego. So we cannot even conceive those subtle material elements. What to speak of spirit soul, which is above all of this? So Krishna's point in this chapter is to give knowledge and rise one to think that Krishna is the origin of all of this and make us Krishna conscious. Prabhupada in this purport gives some wonderful points, which I'll mention. So he says this material energy, the philosophers who deal with mental activities are also not perfect in knowledge because they do not know the ultimate source, Krishna. So those who are focusing on the subtle matter, they are also not perfect. They are also not. They also don't understand. Even the Sankhya philosophers, atheistic Sankhya philosophers, with a poor fund of knowledge, do not know Krishna as the cause of all causes. The subject matter for discussion in the Sankhya philosophy is the only manifestation of the external energy of Krishna as it is described in Bhagavad Gita. So, mostly people are in ignorance, being entangled with this separated energy of Krishna, mesmerized by this illusory energy of Krishna, or which we call Maya. So, those who are in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Lord he manifests this material energy by which we become attracted and become entangled. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sings Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Actually, Bhakti Vinod Thakur sings Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Gaura Chand Bole Kota Nidra Javo Maya Pishachi Rakhole. So he says, Gaura Chand, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is saying, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. O Jiva, O conditioned living entity, get up, get up. Gaura Chand Boli. You have been sleeping on the lap of which Maya? Kota Nidra Javo, Maya Pishachira Kole. You have been sleeping very nicely, thinking you are enjoying, but it is actually the lap of which Maya. So we keep saying which Maya, but actually it is which only for materialists, not for devotees. So there is Maya's aspect of being Mahamaya and Yogamaya. There's a nice pastime in this connection. In Mayapur, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, there is this island called Simantadweep. There are 9 islands in Navadweep area. One of this is Simantadweep. So this Simantadweep is named because Mother Parvati, she took the dust of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet and put it on her forehead, on her Simanta. So the part of the hair of the ladies where they put their, the sindoor. Most ladies have a parting in the middle, some have on the side. So the one in the middle is called Simanta. So in this place, the place of Lakshmi Devi, So Lord Shiva is there in Kailasha. Since Lord Shiva was in Kailasha, remembering Lord Chaitanya, he was chanting Gauranga, 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 like that. He was in constant ecstasy, dancing, chanting the name of Lord Gauranga. So Mother Parvati was looking, what is my husband doing? He's dancing in ecstasy like this. So she asked, why are you dancing so ecstatically? What is this mantra you are chanting? Gauranga. And Lord Shiva said, so this is Lord Krishna's golden avatar. He comes in Kali Yuga and he is Krishna himself, but he comes as a devotee. His name is Gauranga because his angas or limbs are golden, golden complexion. And he gives out Krishna Prema, love of Godhead, freely to everyone. Namo Mahavadanyaya, as Rupa Goswami says. Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. And so he says, when you chant his name, you will also feel love of Krishna. And so Mother Parvati becomes curious. Oh, how can I see him? And so Lord Shiva says, well, now it is time for Kali Yuga. But if you go to his abode in Navadvip Dham, and if you chant his holy name, he may reveal himself to you. He eternally resides there in Navadvip Dham. So she came to that island. Right now there is Jagannath temple, the famous Jagannath temple is there in that Simantadvip. Devotees go there, they take darshan of Lord Jagannath there. So that place where she goes and she begins to chant Gauranga, 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 like that. And then Lord Chaitanya appears to Mother Parvati. My dear Devi, why are you calling me? And then Mother Parvati sees the beautiful form of Lord Gauranga with a garland touching his lotus feet, his yellow garments, his beautiful body, bodily forms, bodily features, his arms going down to his knees, the beautiful lotus face, lotus eyes. And Mother Parvati becomes ecstatic seeing this most beautiful form. And she falls on the ground, offers obeisances, and then she gets up. She never has seen any beautiful form like that. And then Lord Gauranga consoles her. Be calm. Tell me what do you want? And then she says, I heard that you are giving out love of Godhead freely. I am your servitor. I want to know when I can get love of Godhead. I'm suffering so much in this world. My duty is to give pain to people who are against Krishna conscious, to make them realize, reform, just like a jailkeeper. He has this hard task of giving hard tasks to those who come to jail, so that to reform their consciousness, so they don't do those mistakes again and again. So they always spend time in the jail. So, like that, she is saying, I suffer so much. I don't have the association of devotees. And they call me the witch, Maya. They stay away from me. Even the devotees, they stay away from me. So I want this love of Krishna. You are giving to everyone in this world, as Narottam Das Thakur sings. Dina hina yata shilo hariname uddharilo. Tara sakshi jagai madhai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Patita Pavana. He's delivering everyone apamaramyo vitatara. He has given the love of Krishna to everyone, irrespective of their qualification. She says, will I be the only one not to get it? Am I the only one who is deprived of this? So, can you please have mercy on me? And Lord Chaitanya becomes pleased with her. And he says, yes, so be it. You will have love of God, love of Krishna. And actually, without you, my Leela could not be accomplished. Because in the form of Yogamaya, you are necessary in my pastimes. In Vraja, you are eternally present as Paurnamasi. And in Navadvip, you are present as Praudhamaya, along with Kshetrapala Lord Shiva, the guardian of Dhamma. So there is Praudhamaya temple. in Navadvip, that is the temple of Mother Parvati, exhibiting her form as Praudamaya or Yogamaya, specially meant for devotees. So, saying this, Lord Gauranga disappeared and Parvati Devi became overwhelmed with love. So, Mother Parvati stays in one form as the goddess of Simantadvip and in another form as Praudamaya in Mayapur. So, and then she takes the dust from Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet and put it on her head and becomes ecstatic in love of Krishna. She protects the holy dham, keeps those non-devotees off of the limits. So there are two aspects of Maya. Mahamaya is for those who are not Krishna conscious, who want to be materialistic, and they are given three kleshas: Adhyatmik, Adidaivik, Adibhautik, Adidaivik. As Mother Parvati, Durga Devi has this Trishul, the three kinds of kleshas, whereas she acts like Yogamaya for devotees who connects to Krishna. She is the expansion of Radharani. So devotees don't have to worry as long as they remain in Krishna consciousness. The worry of Mahamaya is only for non-devotees or those who are not Krishna conscious. This is meant for reformation. So Srila Prabhupada says there are two ways one can take to Krishna consciousness. One is the hard way, which is done by Maya, Maya Devi, Mahamaya. She gives this, inflicts these sufferings so that they'll reform and come out of that Maya consciousness, material consciousness. Or the devotees are also trying to transform the living entities by their very compassionate measures, methods, like how the disciplic succession, Srila Prabhupada, his spiritual master, they're all disciplic succession. How they enact these programs for bringing back conditioned souls. This is a very pleasing way of becoming Krishna conscious. So either you take the pleasing way or the difficult way, being under the control of Maya. It is up to us to choose. The most pleasing way is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana Nitai Gaura Chandra. Saba Avatar Sarasiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. So this avatar of Chaitanya Nityananda is the crest jewel of all incarnations. Saba Avatar Sarasiromani. Why? Because the method they gave to make one Krishna conscious is simply Kevala Ananda Kanda. Nice Kirtan, enjoying nice Kirtan, hearing nice messages from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, honoring nice, tasty Krishna Prasadam, chanting the holy name, worshipping the beautiful form of the deity, decorated, so pleasing to the eyes in the temple, and dancing for Kirtans, celebrating wonderful festivals. So this is Kevala Ananda Kanda. So we should just choose that path. If we don't choose that path, we'll remain in the path of or under the subjugation of Maya, and we'll be inflicted with heavier punishments. So the other final aspect of this verse, which I wanted to mention, is Prabhupada brings up at one point, is how these impersonalists, they say that their pet phrase is Brahma Satya Jagad Mithya. This world is false. The only truth is that impersonal Brahma Jyoti, Brahman is Satyam, and everything else is false. But Prabhupada says, we don't say everything is false. And he quoted this verse. Krishna is saying in this 7.4 that Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhirevacha Ahamkara Itiyam Me Bhinna Prakriti Rashtatha. These are my energies. I have created all these things. So when Krishna is saying clearly, I have created, that they exist, how can it be false? They are separated, all right. Separated means, just like, one easy example to understand is, a cow gives milk and milk has become separated from cow, but milk is the energy of cow. Or you record your voice in a tape recorder and you go and separately, your voice is coming out. It is your energy, but it has become separated from you, like that. So this world, it is energy of Krishna. It is called separated because when you are entangled in that energy of Krishna, you feel yourself separate from Krishna. One who is entangled in this material energy, they feel separated from Krishna. So, but Krishna is saying, they're all my energies. So the world is not false. Jagat Mithya is not false. Jagat is truth, although it is temporary. Why we call it as false or illusion is because whatever we whatever we have in this world, whatever we undergo in this world, is temporary. One should not think that it is eternal, like my body, my relations, everything that I have in this world. If one thinks they are eternal, that is illusion. Not that they don't exist. They are illusion or false because they are not eternal. So from this verse, we can disprove this Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya concept. I'll stop here. If you have any questions, please post it in the comment section. I'll be there for about a couple of minutes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. Thank you, everyone who's been able to watch. Hare Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna Balaram, Sri Nitai Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada.